Hello and welcome everyone, yet again to episode 11 of Meet a Streamer. That's a lot of episodes. I say it every time. I'll keep saying it every time because I'm always happy to be here again. Talking about happy to be here again, let us go straight to point and introduce one of our guests. Garw00d's name speeds his game. Say hello, Garw00d.
Hello.
And our
Hello.
other guest is BadKarma. Nice to be here. Welcome, welcome. And
Hello,
I,
glad to be here.
I think we're gonna start with content that everyone was looking forward for so long. It's finally out there, and I want to ask you guys, what do you think about new DLC? What do you like or dislike about this? And if we could, some people here didn't play it before, so if you could try to avoid spoilers for now. But what's your general opinion on the new DLC?
Well, I started getting into it last night, and unfortunately, before I could actually finish it, the game crashed on me, so I wasn't able to continue. But I got through the first few missions on it, and I was having a lot of fun. The NPCs that you work with on the first couple of missions are two of my favorite NPCs in Borderlands 3, so I was really happy to get more interaction with them.
I haven't unfortunately played it yet, but from what I've seen in the notes and what I've seen from other people playing it, it looks like a lot of fun. And like what they've added with these patches as well with this DLC, seems like it could potentially be useful for speedrunning. So I'm kind of curious what I can do with that. And doesn't look like they broke anything on speedrun as well, so I'm quite happy.
Good that your priorities set straight, right?
Yeah.
So, when it comes to Borderlands, my another question to you guys is, what got you into Borderlands? Why did you start playing it? When? From which game also?
So I started in Borderlands when the games launched. I played Borderlands 1 at launch on Mordecai. I played Borderlands 2 at launch on Zero, but I didn't play it as much as I do now until I got onto Twitch and had friends that got into it. And so joining, I think I joined in 2016 or 2017 after the hunt that year, because I had a whole bunch of friends join in and just realized how much replayability Borderlands 2 had, and started getting really into it and deep into it and joining the community. And the community is what drags you in, keeps you here, never lets go, and you love every minute of it.
Yeah, so for me, I don't really remember how I got into Borderlands. I remember playing Borderlands 2 a lot with my friends, and I assume one of my friends got me into it. And then Borderlands 3 came out, and again, another one of my friends was like, yo, I'm going to get this game. Do you want to co-op it through the story? Let's have some fun. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then I kind of just got hooked into doing speed runs, city kills, things like that. So it's been a lot of fun for myself.
Great. And keeping on the topic of Borderlands or Borderlands 3, I was wondering if you guys are satisfied with the story of Borderlands 3 thus far. Let's say before the current DLC came out, and if not, if you have any idea to improve it,
Yeah,
or how you would improve it.
I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, obviously, I think everyone is in agreement that handsome Jack's handsome Jack, and we don't have that in this game, and so a lot of people don't like the twins because they're not handsome Jack. But it's really hard to meet the expectation and maybe exceed it of one of the best written antagonists in all of gaming that I've played. But I actually really liked them, and if you go back and you listen to the echoes and you actually hear the dialogue and the interactions between them, every time I play through the game, the twins grow on me more and more, and I actually really liked it. I was a little sad about how they finished their story and kind of wished they wouldn't have finished it so early, but I've loved the story of it. And every DLC that comes out seems to put something new and interesting into the game, and I've been really happy with it.
Yeah, likewise. Like first time playing through the story, I enjoyed the entire story myself. I liked the twist they were going for with the Twitch streamers and things like that, and how they were pushing heavy on there. And I just kind of like the idea of it. And fun and enjoyable for me. So, and I play through the story a lot, so I know it a lot.
Do
So-
you
So
though?
much
I mean,
you
as a
can't dialogue
speedrunner,
skip.
you may not pay attention to it as much as you think, but regardless of whether you like it or not, you start remembering the dialogue, and you get to a point you're like, oh, she's
Mhm.
gonna say this, and she says it, and you're like, I've played this game too. So yeah.
And there's so many lines that you hear because you can't skip them, and there's some characters where you're just like, ah, shut up, I don't want to hear you anymore. And then there's others where it's like the more you hear them, the more you like them. Like Tyrene cracks me up every time I hear the "remind me," and it kills me. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, I must say, like I also like speedrun Borderlands 3 for a while, and it's really refreshing to like go through the story and not having to talk to Lilith all the time, you know, and not maybe you have to talk to her, but you don't have to listen to her because
Yeah.
as far as this goes, you just save quit as soon as she says the first word, and it's like, hey, Lilith, how's it going? Good, great, save quit, and moving on. So, keeping to Borderlands 3, let's talk about favorites. I was wondering, like from all angles you could think of, like regular play, end game, or even just speedruns, which one is your favorite skill tree and why?
Amara is still probably my favorite overall, but Zane
I'm sorry.
is so funny, and he goes so fast. It's hard for me to not play one of those two.
Yeah. Same. Like I've always played Zane. I literally haven't played any of the other characters that much. I did one playthrough with Black, and that's it. So yeah, and I've always tried to go fast. I've always enjoyed that play style. So yeah, that's where I went.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering in that regard, how much do you think has the fourth skill tree actually helped Zane with his speedrunning speed, like the Mantis Cannon?
The Mantis Cannon, a lot. The skill tree itself, absolutely none. The Mantis Cannon is so strong. And also the change between seeing dead and seeing red. So Mantis Cannon wouldn't have been a major thing. Well, it's a big thing for the speedrun, but in a sense, the bigger thing that happened on that patch was the change with seeing red and seeing dead. No, seeing red and death was close. Whoops. Because we could activate our kill skills so much earlier because we don't have to wait till level 30 to just activate kill skills. We can do it at level 13. And that's a big change for us.
It's a big swing once you get that going.
Well, I'm gonna ask you something about something else because apart from just playing Borderlands, you guys also stream. So my question is, what or who inspired you to start streaming?
Well, for me, I had no clue what Twitch was. Started playing Destiny with some friends, and they would always joke around whenever they made a good play in PvP or a raid or something. They would joke around about going on MLG and streaming on Twitch and everything. And I was like, what the heck is Twitch? What are you guys talking about? And they made fun of me forever not knowing what Twitch was back in 2015. But I started watching Destiny and Hearthstone streams, mainly guys like Gathalion and Professor Broman, who were kind of pioneers in the Borderlands industry or community. And it was awesome. It was something I had never seen before. Like I watched YouTube videos a bunch, but being live and interacting and building a community around it was so cool. And then I saw much smaller communities and people that were, husbands and fathers like I am, and people that were working full-time jobs or going to school, and they were able to do it as well as these other people that were doing it full-time. And I was like, yeah, I could, that'd be cool. I could probably do that. And really, I only started streaming just to like record past broadcasts so that we could go back and watch our funny moments and raids and such. And then like one person started watching, and after I think after a year or so, I had like 3 people watching, and I was like, hey, this is cool. And just kind of went from there.
Yeah, I see. For me, like Twitch, I never intended to stream on Twitch. I used to watch like Summit 1G, and again, I used to watch a lot of Destiny because I played Destiny back in the day as well, and that was a lot of fun. And I always kind of intended never to like stream or record because I always felt like making a game into a job or something that you worry about like, performing in wouldn't be something I would enjoy. But Twitch has become a lot more enjoyable because of the interaction with people. And I basically, the only reason why I've stuck around because of them and not because of the games or anything like that. So yeah.
Oh, that is huge. Yeah, that's absolutely, garw00d nailed it. The people that you meet and interact with while you're playing these games is what keeps you in those games. Without the community around us, like I would have had fun on, all the Borderlands games playing through each character, but I would have put it down and moved on to a different game long ago.
Yeah, the community that builds around you, or your friends around who's also streaming,
Mhm.
really like wanna keep you going. It's sometimes people even like watch some streamers for the person themselves and what they have to say, and not like the game. The game is like on the side sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially with interesting content when something new is released. My
Definitely.
Yeah, okay. So my another question is, we so far know most of the cast for the new Borderlands movie. We lately also received like initial scenario for it, and I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about the movie, about the cast? Do you think it have a chance to be a good movie, or it's gonna be another of those productions that everyone complains about because it's based on games?
Well, as long as it's not what Monster Hunter World was looking like, I think we're gonna be fine.
Oh, you just
I
reminded me.
think we'll be
Oh
fine.
God.
I don't know. I try to go into this one with lowered expectations so that I can be pleasantly surprised, and that's kind of the mentality I want to keep. I don't want to get too excited for it and get let down. But a long time ago, Randy Peterson mentioned that they're gonna try and do something more like the MCU, where Marvel takes their comics and uses them as like references. They don't adapt any specific storyline. They'll pull pieces from one story and another and put it together in a new creative thing for their movies, and that's kind of what they're going to do with the Borderlands movie, where it's not going to be just a direct adaptation of Borderlands 1 or Borderlands 2. They're going to take characters and storyline from it and put together something brand new for the movie. And I just hope that as gamers, I know we can all be really extreme about things, that people will kind of take that and understand that it's not a direct adaptation and be kind of forgiven for that. So I'm excited for it, but I don't want to think it's going to be the greatest thing ever and then it just be like good, not great, and get let down by it. So kind of tempering expectations a little.
Yeah, very likewise. Like I never like to try and judge something before it's even been seen. So I kind of just wait and hopefully, even if it's not a great movie, it's something you can enjoy. Because like I enjoy a lot of movies that are considered bad, but you know I enjoyed it. I don't care. And
Sometimes you want just a dumb movie, though, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what Borderlands movie could be, and it could just be something funny and interesting while not actually being that great. And that's
I
what I
think
really hope at least it has.
Yeah, I think it's a good move that they don't actually like try to say this is the part of the main story from the game, because I think that's what was the biggest problem for movie games, movies about the games, because people were like, hey, this is not lore wise correct, or this is not timeline correct. This movie sucks because of it, and like the hard try gamers will be like that, like, hey, this is not correct. Like this was with Warcraft. I watched Warcraft. I think we've talked about this on your stream once, Karma. I watched Warcraft before playing the game. I said, like, it's okay fantasy movie. I watched it after playing the game. I was like, wait, nothing is correct. So I can
Yeah.
understand the annoyance here.
So yeah, I'm kind of that same way. It was like, I enjoyed watching Warcraft for what it was. It's just a fun fantasy movie. But when you talk about the lore of everything, like it is not correct, and people need to be okay with that. I know very little of World of Warcraft lore from like Hearthstone and the very little of WoW that I've played, and I know that things were very different. So yeah. Now that being said, when we get into the retirement parties we're gonna throw for Tannis because of the 96-year-old person that is playing him, maybe we'll love that. I like cake. So, maybe.
I like it. But to be fair, like if they can try and keep the interactions between the characters, even if the story's bad and the interactions are fun, it'd be good.
They have
Yeah,
pretty okay
the
cast,
actors
right?
and actors. What's that?
They have pretty okay cast for the movie. Like the actors are known, and there's some hope they can like. No, it's never like actors make the movie; it's the scenario. But actors can improve it by a lot by their acting there.
Yeah, the cast that they have, the actual actors and actresses are great. Like they have a great resume. They've done awesome stuff. I have worries about it. Like we don't know what the timelines is. Some of them seem like weird choices. Like we're gonna have, Jamie Lee Curtis is gonna be Tannis, but obviously much different in age than what the like game would be. Kevin Hart as Roland. I know a lot of people are poking fun at the whole height thing, but it's Hollywood. They have movie magic to solve that problem. The issue I see with the Roland casting for me is more of Roland is supposed to be like the leader, the soldier that is unshakable. He's supposed to inspire everybody, and I've never really seen that kind of character played by Kevin Hart, and I don't know if he can pull it off. I personally would have rather seen someone like Michael B. Jordan in that role, but Kevin Hart's a great actor, and I've been entertained a ton by what he's done. So hopefully he does a great job. And maybe they'll make Roland a different type of character for the movie.
I mean, I look forward to the first trailer to actually see how he will show as Roland there, because that will tell us something about this. Because we had actors in past, like for example Rowan Atkinson, who was always this comedy guy, and then he played in the serious movie. And if you stop thinking about him as, hey, gonna do something funny in a moment, he was actually great in the movie where he was very serious. So that's possible to break out of, like, you know, the curse of playing only one type of character all the time.
Yeah, because if you never get that chance, then you can never break out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
and actors that can pull off the comedy stuff are so good at pretty much anything, because it's very hard to pull off comedy the right way.
Great.
And while we're still on the note of like the movie, would you guys prefer to be like an absolute blockbuster, like people love it, it gets its revenue in, or would you guys prefer it to be more like of a B tier movie, like one of those movies that are so bad that you love them?
I don't want
wanna
that. I am actually a big fan of miniseries now. After a lot of the novels that have been adapted into miniseries TV shows rather than movies, I've actually really enjoyed that because there's so much more content. The Witcher was so good. So good. And they had so much more time they could develop the characters and story and everything. I would have preferred that. I'm actually really surprised they went with like more blockbuster casting. I figured they would get some kind of people that were a little bit not as well known, and some no-name actors and actresses, kind of like some of the great movies we've been watching in our generation have popped out of, people have gotten really famous from movies like Harry Potter and Game of Thrones has put a bunch of stars in there and everything. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't think they'd have the budget for that, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like I think our generation as a whole is kind of branded by like things like the live action Dragon Ball movie, live action Super Mario movie, and to
Mortal
an extent even
Kombat coming.
the Mortal Kombat movie, like all of those movies like tied to video games that are just so bad. Sometimes they're not even good. So I think it's just kind of hard to like give these things the benefit of the doubt. I mean, as you said, like the Monster Hunter World movie, like we just been scarred recently again.
Yeah, that's rough.
I think the
That one was
cast.
rough.
I think the cast for Borderlands shows us one thing, because if a movie based on a game gets such a top tier cast, because those actors are well known for big productions, then it starts to look like the gamers are like more noticeable by the movie industry, because like this is about from the game. This is like the main target for them are people who play the game, right? Of course there'll be tons of people who will watch it and never play the game or heard about this, but they see how big potential is in people who play games, so they make a movie knowing that they will go to the cinema and watch it there. I think that also shows like some changes in the industry overall, how it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be funny to see people who play the game a lot go with people who don't play the game at all, to see the difference. Because imagine like my brother or sister or my parents like watching Borderlands movie. I'm like, I know this, I know it. And they're just like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I'm definitely taking my wife to it, and that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be like, babe, look who it is. And she's like, leave me alone, you weirdo.
Oh, he also says it in the video games.
He said the line. Yeah.
Yo, that's a conference call. I have that gun.
I wonder if they're gonna actually use the guns from the game. It would be cool if they actually like try to recreate the popular legendaries, right, in the movie. Imagine that. That would be so cool.
Can you imagine they make just some weird one-liners to reference the gun? Yeah. Like, what is this? Some kind of conference call? He just chucks the pump gun.
So one of the best movies I've seen in a recent decade, like forever, that incorporated a lot of video game content was Ready Player One. And the amount of Easter eggs and great pieces of everything that they threw in there. I mean, they had a little claptrap in there for
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. Like the little tiny details that they throw in always make it that much better. And this is a great opportunity to throw in little tiny things.
It's like this small wink to the audience, like, hey, yeah, you remember that line or that gun? It's right here, right? And people who never play the game will like, okay, it's okay, yeah, right. It's, I guess, funny, and for gamers, like, okay, they just made a pun out of everything they're referencing to the game.
Yeah, if they don't have the right memes in the movie, it's gonna just crash and fall.
Agreed.
That'll be
So, moving on to another question. You guys have played Destiny, as I take it. You guys have played Outriders to some extent. So you guys dabble in other first-person shooter kind of games, even though, okay, yeah, I get it, Outriders third person. But what other first-person or in general shooter elements would you like to see introduced into Borderlands?
Introduced into Borderlands? Wow.
I
ahead, Garw.
honestly like the gameplay so much in Borderlands 3. Like the manslinging, the movement, how the guns feel, all that. I honestly don't want them to change that ever, really. It feels so great. You got altering fire modes and things like that. They can experiment with that. There's a lot they can do with that. Play around with manufacturers, specialties, and things like that. But ultimately, like the gameplay wise, I think they've got Borderlands 3 to a pretty good T.
If you could add like any mechanic, like for example, I know some kind of crafting mechanic or something like this. If something else, like for example, for not
Wall
only guns but for example vehicles, if you could add something extra from other game that you really like.
I'm pretty weary of crafting. I know the whole anointment reroll that came out is something that people are really excited about, but I feel like that takes away the hunt of the game and kind of ruins the longevity of it. People still love and play Borderlands 2 like crazy, and the reason I think a lot of the reason why people do is because it is so difficult to get the best gear in that game. I mean, you could go and farm Savage Lee 20 times and not get a single uncamped Herald, or you could farm once and get a double penetrating uncamped Herald on your first go, but you never know, and it's always that like wonderful moment to get that. There are games I've played. Destiny had rerolls in it, and it kind of crapped the bed, so they took it away. Diablo is a game that actually does it really well. Each item has like 6 different attributes that are really important, and you can re-roll one of those stats. So if you get an item that has 4 out of 6 really good stats, you can re-roll one more to make it almost perfect. Doing it that kind of way is cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Re-rolling the whole anointment thing, we'll see how people end up liking it, but I think what it's going to do is shorten the lifespan a little bit, because now, I mean, just take Epic NNG, for example. The dude farmed Agonizer almost 3,000 times to get what he calls the God roll backburner. He plays the DLC for a couple hours and re-rolls the anointment he wants on it, no problem. Posts the video, boom, he's got it. Like, that's the perfect example of that. To go back to the initial question of what you would add to it, I'm kind of with Garw00d on Borderlands 3 has some of my favorite gameplay as far as the gun mechanics and everything. Now, if you add a little bit of a quirk to a different manufacturer, that would be really fun. If you tweak some of the skill trees and things and the abilities, that would be cool. On a lot of the behind the scenes footage in the new DLC, they actually show development of the skill trees and what they could have been, what the action skills were before they changed them. A lot of that stuff looked really cool, and I kind of hope that they introduce some of that later on in the game.
No, maybe at some point.
Maybe.
Honestly, I like the anointment reroll because I know in Borderlands 2 it's a little bit more difficult just to get the gun, but if you got the gun, even if it wasn't perfect, it was kind of felt usable. And I feel like in Borderlands 3, especially if you're trying to go to the higher tiers of Mayhem, if you don't get that anointment, the gun's just awful. But there's so many anointments, so it depends on how you take it. It's like some people really enjoy that grind and taking that time, but some people kind of just want to play the game, but they do want to take that grind. They don't want to spend forever for it though. So you've got 2 sort of variations on that look, and I'm kind of more on the I would like to kind of get it done a little bit faster. So I like the anointment reroll system because of how varied the anointments are, personally.
I think it's something that really divided the community as of late, because I can see a lot of arguments about this. People have on both sides valid points, because a lot of people, like, mostly what I've heard is that people who wanted the lower loot pool that reroll cost is because they are so used to Borderlands 2, they want to see Borderlands 2 in Borderlands 3. And in Borderlands 3, there is like a different meta. You have a lot of legendaries, but you have also unknowns, which is extra RNG layer. So despite there being more legendaries, it's still harder to get a good loot because you need a proper anointment for it, right? And the way reroll is cool because if you don't want to reroll, if you want to farm classical way, you just don't use the machine. But at the same time, with the smaller loot pool, it's harder to farm anyway, so you have to use the machine if you want to, like, not spend hours upon hours more on the farming there. So I guess they had to really think it through and see all the pros and cons of this. Because I can see people arguing everywhere, literally, about this. Twitter, Discord,
Oh, yeah.
Reddit, yeah.
It's a very controversial topic for sure. I 100% agree. The pool of anointments was littered with a bunch of them that shouldn't be there. Like the whole Iron Bear pool of anointments is insane.
Oh my god.
Like who wants all those different variations? And it's crazy. So tweaks could definitely be there to improve a lot of it, especially since it is like kind of what garw00d said. It's so impactful. If you don't get the right anointment, you're just not going to be as strong. Period.
Yeah, I think overall, like, we can agree that like Borderlands 3 added like so much quality of life to the game, so that it doesn't feel like Borderlands 2 anymore. However, they still have kind of like the problem of actually balancing some of those aspects, like as we talked, like anointments, because on paper, like, the Iron Bear anointments sound good. Like, okay, you can specialize in this Iron Bear or this Iron Bear or this Iron Bear, but in practicality, it's just filler.
I
Just
mean, for most, you could scrap half of the anoints, to be honest,
Yeah.
because they're never used, right?
Yeah. I would actually like to see them do different things with the anointments. Like make the gameplay loop different. Don't just do straight up raw damage. 100% damage, 200% damage, 300% damage is it's just kind of gross. It's just very bland, and you just get stronger if you use it, whatever. But to do something different with it, like if you activate Iron Bear, do this crazy thing that interacts with this other thing over here, and you create those synergies. Like if you look at the mod system in Outriders, that has a lot of cool stuff. Like each mod has like 4 different possible things that you can do when you activate a skill, or when the skill runs out, when this is on cooldown, when a gun's reloaded, do this. Like all those different things are cool gameplay loop mechanics that could be changed and change the way that you play the game.
Yeah.
Good statement, really. So, moving on, let's switch to a topic that might be a little bit more uplifting. I'd like to know from both of you, what your most hilarious stuff is that you've had in the entire Borderlands series. There has to be.
Okay. Mine's probably pretty easy. In Borderlands 2, I decided that it would be a really good idea to do a 1-life attempt with Axton, only being able to use the contraband skyrocket and the action skill,
I love that grenade.
which is
It's
actually
great.
it's actually really funny. So I had gone through and I had died once, and so I was starting the game over again, and I was just kind of mindlessly running through where you come alive and you're talking to Claptrap, and
Same thing.
there's that fire barrel. I went
Oh,
to
no.
jump over the fire barrel and caught on fire, and it was not intentional, but that was the fastest 1-life I had ever lost.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, the fire barrel, like in front of like the entrance to his cave. There's like this shield in the fire barrel. I like also lost a 1 life to that once. Because I was like, hey, does this deal damage to me? Yeah, okay.
So that was probably, as far as solo goes, that was definitely my worst, funniest solo death. But I had played a co-op playthrough with my friend Frost and Princess Raptor, who were both streamers in Borderlands at the time. and we decided to do a co-op Krieg playthrough where all three of us were playing Krieg, and we spec'd into the friendly fire skill tree. So you
Amazing.
could actually receive friendly fire from each other. And we found out it's very easy to kill both people if you just throw a skyrocket in their direction. Well, we were, right below Outlook where you have all those, you have to like kind of drive the car in that area, and you're below, you have to kill one of the enemies for one of the side quests there. There was a moment where one of us went down, and I was trying to revive them, and then I got downed, and the other person ran us over. And to this day, I still don't know if it was actually intentional or not. But they ran us both over, and that was like probably the funniest multiplayer kill in Borderlands I've seen.
It reminds me when we had Asher on the last episode, and he mentioned how he played with other Krieg, and one of them was down, and they like had perfect mix-up of lines because one of them said, "I love you," and second one was like, "Don't make this awkward." So perfect combo there. What about you, garw00d?
I don't really remember. I've killed myself a lot in this game, or at least in Borderlands 3. I don't really remember my time in Borderlands 2 too much. That was a long time ago, and I haven't played much. But in Borderlands 3, I've done a lot of sort of on purpose devs to like discover things like where I can go out of bounds, all these things. But one that could stand out in mind is I was testing the whole new flying thing. I didn't know how it worked exactly at the time. So I created this scenario where I was going to start flying like in 5 minutes, not right now. And I had no idea. So I was just going through the Malawan takedown. I'd just been raided by Shadow Evil. Literally like 10 seconds afterwards, I just start flying out the map and I just die. And I'm just like, yeah, welcome to my stream.
What an entry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have some more creative question now for you guys. If you were a CEO of a new manufacturer, what would your unique gimmick of your manufacturer be?
Flight.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
I would just, I'll fly. Why wouldn't I?
Sure.
Wall running.
Wall running?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to do war running.
I want to fly and wall run. Can I have both?
yeah.
Play Titanfall 2.
You can't have fly. It's already trademarked by garw00d. Sorry, there's only like wall walking for you.
Let's.
Hey, I mean, there's the handsome jackhammer. You can combo these boys, you know.
I would love to have a gun that allows me to skip dialogue.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Imagine if a sellout could actually do that. Just overlap
so
dialogue.
good. So good.
Overlap, but certainly not skip. Man, imagine if this would work and then like BL3 speedruns sort of just turn into BLTPS speedruns and you just hear the same line like 350 times, skip dialogue.
Well, I mean, you could always do a spot of bounty hunting.
Would good to go back in the game.
Oh, why? I had forgotten about that. I had a run, where I was like, this seems a bit quiet. Something's off. And it turns out I didn't have that dialogue, so I went to do a skip of it, and I was like, oh no, I don't have it.
Oh no.
Okay, I'll stay on the subject of creative questions. So we have a pretty fun takedowns already, and we have one really fun arms race. So if there were a new takedown or new arms race map, what would you like to see it, like where or with what theme, what kind of enemies? If you could like ask to have a new one, what theme would you
Krieg's
like
Mind. I want Krieg's Mind. Give me a slaughter, give me a proving ground, give me a takedown, all in Krieg's Mind.
Yeah, that could get silly fast. And that would be a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can't think of one on the top of my head.
Yeah, he never goes to those. He just runs past them. Can't blame him.
Yeah, I miss all the content. My speedruns are boring. I just killed the bosses and that's it.
I would really like to see each map, each biome, honestly, a slaughter, a takedown, and a proving ground for each biome. I think would be really cool. The fact that the Guardian takedown takes place on somewhere that we hadn't been before, I thought was really cool and interesting. Obviously, Athenas is one of my favorite planets. Pandora's got really cool places, but we've been all over the place there. So let's go to Necrotafeo and Promethea and Eden 6 and all these different places. Gehenna would be really cool to have some different things on.
It's a Trump family takedown.
Dude, there's so many Trons.
Yeah,
I know.
there's still more. I'm sure of it. Enough for at least one
There's an
slaughter
echo-
shaft.
There's an echo where they go over all of the different siblings, and I think I counted something like 12 or 14 different names that they go through on there.
There was one popular idea before about Arms Race to make it like an Electra City-like map with a lot of verticality.
I would be interested.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It could be like a deadlift fight from the pre-sequel. You just have air jumps going all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Get up high and just be like a little sniper as well.
You
Like
can go
cover
under.
your teammates as they run to the chest.
Just a place underground, going above the buildings, like parkour. Yeah, that would be pretty cool as well, I think.
But I really like the idea of the Tron takedown. Like, imagine if just each enemy has like a number to them. It's like Tron number such and such, and it's like
So good.
actually just not the siblings, but the
Like-
whole extended
This
family.
is like Tron's second cousin twice removed.
Yeah, number 4,
And then you just
45-degree angle,
You have 10 boss fights because you fight one Tron per section.
and at the end of the game, you just fight like Grandma Tron, which is like Grandma Flexington from Torque. She-
Just starts going into a story while you're fighting another Tron.
yeah, Tron just come while she tells the story, and then you have to answer the question.
Then you have immunity phase for talking, so you have to listen to it. You can do anything.
You get, oh yeah, you get the answer wrong, you get a whole nother section of the story you gotta listen to.
Just instantly one-shots you. Great ideas all around. I love it. Talking about creative questions, though, there's one I always love to ask, which is, if you had a loot explosion when you died, what would it contain? What would be in it?
Pestilence and a snowdrift.
Also, real-life items are also allowed. Like, it could also be Red Bull if you drink a lot of those.
I'm gonna make it so someone can fly away.
Oh, I'm gonna have a bunch of monsters and Red Bulls for sure.
Like those?
Worth it.
Gotta have an interfacer. The interfacer is my favorite weapon, so I'd have to have that in there. I think that'd be that's me. Yeah, monsters, Red Bulls, and interfacers for everyone.
Wow, cool.
Okay.
Which flavor, though?
Ooh, there's a few. As long as it's not artificial sweetener and the sugar-free versions, I'm golden. Pretty much whatever.
Sounds good.
Sugar-free. Did you try the Monster Mango but sugar-free? It's pretty good and it doesn't taste artificial.
I've had the Monster Juiced Mango.
Mango Loco, yeah.
Yeah,
stand
that one's pretty good. I like that one. My favorites are the Monster Rehabs. They do like this tea energy drink mix, and they actually use sugar, but it's only like 3 or 4 grams of sugar. It's pretty good. Those are the best.
Yeah, I feel like these rehabs, I tried, even though I'm not in America, we have like an import store where you can get like these Arizona cans from America, these 99-cent ones. And there's also like these kind of tonic teas. And I really like the concept of that. Anyway, moving on. Opinion. Which Vault Hunter from the whole series do you think has the best visual design? This is both like visually, but also like skill design, like the whole character basically.
Wow.
My boy. I like my boy. He's fun to play. He's got great dialogue. Does look good. Got the most broken skill tree. He's got cap commitment, but doesn't matter.
His new body and skin does look pretty good.
It does.
I am very partial to Athena. But man, that's a hard question. There's so many cool looking Vault Hunters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and the new one have also like alternative skins, right? Which totally change their looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the skill trees just need to be good. Mara. I'm sorry. Cough.
Zane with his bold cut. Just
Oh
coming
no.
at you.
No. No. Mose looks pretty cool with her bandit skin. Flak does too, actually. I think Flak looks really cool. Flak's got a pretty cool design, although it's kind of weird. His classic design with like the big hunchback jacket thing he's got is very strange.
Yeah, well, don't forget his skinny design either.
I still like more the code one than the bootleg Bionicle, which is the second skin, really.
Yeah.
The skin one looks so weird.
I always take that one when I'm like running because hey, more aerodynamics, you're faster. I guarantee it to you.
Okay. I have another question for you. I mean, this question is specifically for Karma, and I have to ask it because if I don't, then I'm gonna be like bothered that I didn't for the next 2 weeks. So, since you're a big movie fan, if Marvel made a new hero that was anime cat girl, who would you want them to cast for the movie? And I'm not adding the last part because that would be suggesting.
I mean, if there was anyone cast for that role that's not named garw00d, what would this world even be? Like,
Oh no.
How could you not?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so question to garw00d: what color should the outfit be for this character in Marvel movie? You know, the superheroes have always their outfits.
Gotta be purple with like fluorescent lights on me, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like the
going
trim
purple.
is like a fluorescent rope lighting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm in. I think
Okay.
I've seen a Final Fantasy 14 cosmetic that looks like that. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Marvel, we're waiting for the new movie, and it should have the perfect actor there. You know,
Any Marvel fans in the chat, take notes.
you think Flash is fast? You haven't seen garw00d? Really? Come on. Okay, garw00d, I have a question for you. If you could design Zane's skill, how would you do it? Like looking at the current trees, if you could change anything about Zane tree, maybe add or distract, add a new skill, what would you want to change? Maybe order of the skills as well?
My big thing is most of the skill trees are good. Like purple trees, maybe a little bit overtuned. Red tree is, you know, a capstone tree, but I'm fine with that because the capstone's very strong and there's things that support the capstone. Blue tree is probably a little bit too much, but you know, we're not gonna think about it. It's fine. But green tree is just absolutely useless. And I really like the idea that they had going, like with trying to keep this full shield and all that, but we're not really rewarded for it. So I want to try and give you rewards, like the longer your shield's been up, you get a cap of gun damage with a cap or action skill, or you know, Calm Cool Collected is a really cool skill, but the problem with Calm Cool Collected is it's the only really strong, apart from maybe Brain Freeze, strong skill in it. And then you could say Distributed Denial is a kind of fun gimmick, but it's not good. And then you've got something like Confident Competence, which is a capstone and gives you 35% gun damage. Like,
What?
I walk and I get more damage than that with Violent Momentum, and that's a tier 1. So I would just try redesign the green tree and just try and make it focus like really about keeping your shield full, and make it so if you had the Rough Rider, that is considered a full shield, and so you can make like a build around not having a shield exactly, or maybe even the longer you've had your shield, once your shield breaks, you get this big boost for like 5 seconds and stuff like that. And I really would think that'd be kind of interesting and fun to go around with that, because it then potentially might give you a reason to go into green tree, because apart from, as I say, Calm Cool Collected, which Good Misfortune plus a Mantis Cannon is just as good as with Seeing Red. And like if you go down Good Misfortune tree, you're not missing out on damage, and like if you're going down green tree, you are missing out a lot of damage. So that's how I would want to go for it. I would really want to leverage into the gimmick of a full shield and make it a play style of either try to be safe or abused all around barrier, and you know, having fun with that. I think that'd be interesting at least.
Bring back Breakneck Banshee.
Oh yeah, Breakneck. Oh, I remember that mod. Good one. Really good one. Also, let's be real. I think the real change that we need is Seeing Red at level 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And violent speed is a passive, not a skill.
Oh,
You know, it's like
my
an
God.
enhancement to
my.
your action skills. You have like level 1, regardless of skill tree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Garw00d just lives in my heart. There's a reason why we're the best among us team.
Yeah. we sped around that map together. Oh, that's so good. Ah,
Nice.
yeah.
So, though, moving on. Ooh, this next one's gonna be hard. Uh, what's something that you guys think should be praised that the Borderlands series as a whole did right?
The looter shooter. I mean,
Yeah.
they pioneered something that very few games are even able to capture a fragment of. I would say Destiny is the only one that's really done it well. Warframe's gotten some success from it, and obviously Outriders right now is getting some from it. The Division had a little bit with it, but there's nothing that combines all of these elements together and makes it a super fun experience like Borderlands does.
Yeah, fully agree.
And the writing is so fun. Like, the humor of the writing in the game should be praised by everyone because it is so good.
Yeah, it's a fun time to play, even if you're not getting the loot.
I mean, and the best part of the story in Borderlands, I think, is that there's a lot of said in the game by characters, by dialogues, but you can find so many details around the map that are telling you more to the story. Like, for example, DLC 2 in Borderlands 3, where you have the blueprints all over the place before the entrance to the heart, and those blueprints explain where the enemies come from. You don't learn it from the story itself, it's just around there, like pieces of lore you can just collect and see if you look around.
Yeah, they do a really good job at world building with things, just collectibles and things like that, which is really nice. And then side stories.
The side missions, if people are not playing the side missions, go 100% the game. Every one of them. Go 100% every one of the games. You'll love your time doing it. It is so much fun. And there's such good dialogue and interesting things that you go and see and do and collect, and so many enemies that are awesome to kill. All the enemies are really unique too, which is really cool.
You know, talking about like unique things and the side missions all being everything being so great. I was wondering though, on the contrary, who's your least favorite character in the series and why?
The whole series, not just Borderlands 3.
Yeah, the whole series. You
Whole
could pick anyone.
series.
Shade is the worst.
Oh yeah,
Oh
fuck sure.
no.
yeah.
Shade
How
is
could
the
you?
worst.
All my homies
He's-
love and hate Shade.
I hate him so much. And then Aurelia is number 2.
You
Okay.
make
Oh,
me
really? It's probably my number
sad.
one.
I loved Shade. He was a
Weird
reference.
how they ended up.
I loved Shade because his reference to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I really like that movie. And he's so great. Oh no.
Man, every time I went through that DLC, I just dreaded interacting with him. And then when I played through Tales for the first time, I was like, yes, my time has come.
I think he would look way better in Borderlands 3, to be honest. Like, in Borderlands 2, Shade has been kind of held back by, you know, the graphics, in my opinion. Same as Herbert. They could be like top tier characters right now if it weren't for the graphics, I swear.
And for you, Garwood?
Oh yeah, mine would be Aurelia. You know, she's just super annoying in general, like to me, and like as a boss fight as well. All of her is just like, she's got some fine dialogue, but as a character, she just annoys me. It's just too uptight, and
It sucks that her skill trees in the pre-sequel are so good, because I never want to play her. I played as her in one playthrough, and I would never do it again because of her dialogue is just the worst. They do a really good job of making you hate everything about her.
I mean, actually, this is one thing I don't like about Aurelia, because even though like her skill trees are nice and all, I don't like that you basically lose access to an entire tree when you don't have a second player because of the contract.
I mean, TPS had a lot of skills that are focused on playing on multiplayer, and there's huge difference if you play with friends. Definitely a huge difference. This game is made to be played with people and not just on solo, because of how powerful skills are that boost your co-op partners when you play with them. Okay, I'm gonna have another question for you guys, which is what is your favorite quote from the Borderlands, from any part?
That's
Ah,
that's hard. There are so many good ones.
Maybe it's been a
Yeah.
time since I set up a spot of bounty hunting. I don't know.
One of my favorite lines in Borderlands 3 is a piece of dialogue that not many people hear. It's when you are in Promethea and you have Zero open the door for you to get to the Neon Arterial. Tyrene begins a dialogue talking about how she leeches her lovers, and it is so funny to me. I love that dialogue. That's probably one of my favorites in Borderlands 3.
one I always enjoy is when Ellie says, "I'm gonna show those city folks something they only see in nature document."
Oh my.
Every
So
time I
That one's good
repeat that
too.
every time. It's like I love that line.
Hmm.
Like that's one thing you can do with the speedrun is like you know that
Mm.
line coming out, you're gonna say it, and you're like, I love this. What I want. It's why I play.
Okay, we'll slowly wrap up. So I have one more question for you guys because you're Borderlands players, but you also dive into other games. You also do other stuff with your community, having like movie nights, for example. So my question is, where do you ideally see your content creation and your career as a streamer or like being a person right now in this community? Where do you ideally see it in 5 years from now? Where do you want to be with all that?
That's a deep, big question. I would actually really like to kind of progress in everywhere that I go. I don't ever plan on doing something and getting stagnant with it, so I always want to grow and get to the next level of things. I think it would be really, really cool to, pursue and try and get on that sweet Borderlands content creation team. It's a game I love, a community I love, and anything I can do to help it would be awesome. So that would be a cool goal to achieve. Then outside of that, just kind of expanding into different areas of content creation, getting more into YouTube videos, posting content specifically for Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and all those places, and creating unique content for each pieces of those. I think would be really cool, and hopefully, maybe in the future, get some time to actually focus on that stuff.
And for-
Personally, I just want to be playing games I enjoy with talking to people I enjoy talking to and having fun with them. That's as long as I'm having fun in 5 years' time, it's a win to me, and I'll be happy.
Well, hopefully it's all gonna happen for you guys. You're gonna get there where you want. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. That was really lovely to have you guys here. Before we wrap up, maybe you want to say something, add something, tell us where we can find you, or say hi to someone, your mods, friends, wife, if she's watching us. Karma.
Yeah, shout out to Garwood for being my best Among Us partner, first of all.
You too, bud.
Talk
We
champs
might
in
have
chat,
some
please.
games coming up soon.
Yeah.
I've seen some people in chat pop in that I absolutely love hanging out with. Frost and Blame Frost is one of my favorite people on Twitch, and Kami's a mod on my channel, and he's awesome. And I saw Hellman in there too. Taco. This community is amazing. There's so many people I would just love to hang out with all the time for sure.
Yeah.
And for you, Garwood?
Yeah, just everyone who hangs out in the chat, everyone who comes say hi, just have a good time. Like Be White with Roy, Yellow, just so many people who just come and say hi. It just just makes the day a little bit better for me. Great.
It's so much fun going into everyone's channels and seeing the people that you've gone from one channel to another with. I go into Garwood's and see BY and everyone in there,
Yeah.
and then when Garwood gets off, he'll go host somebody, and I'll see other people that we know. It's awesome. Just everyone kind of gets together in this one community, and
Yeah.
It's special.
I sometimes like check a couple streams before I start my one, like see how the guys are doing, and every single stream the same person's like, "Hey Pirek, oh Pirek, you're here as well, hi." So yeah, it's nice to have like the community around that helps and supports all of us. Thank you so much again for joining us tonight. For those who missed this episode or jumped right like in the half of it, we will shortly upload it on our YouTube channel. There'll be a link on our Twitter and on our server, of course. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you to all who watched us this afternoon, and I hope you have a great weekend. So see you next time in 2 weeks, and have a great day. Bye. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Everyone.